Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you a really fantastic thread called Rinse and Gone. Now most threads are used to hold things together, so why would you want a thread that disappears when it touches water? Well, I've got 5 really fantastic uses for this special thread that will make your life so much easier. Let's take a closer look. This is Rinse and Gone, and like its name sounds, it will actually melt and disappear when exposed to water. Remember, do not lick the end of it to help thread your needle. We also recommend storing it in a sealed bag in a dry place, as a small exposure to liquid can wreck your spool. There's a lot of times you might want to baste when sewing a project together. The beauty of using water-soluble thread is that you don't have to pull the basting stitches back out when you're finished with them. You can use it to baste your quilt top in place to keep it from shifting when you're quilting it. I'll start by positioning the piece I want to quilt. Then using a hand sewing needle threaded with Rinse and Gone, I'll make big basting stitches across the project, securing each section. Now I can quilt my project without needing to worry about quilting around the pins. The basting can easily be removed by putting the quilt or project in the washing machine on a gentle cycle, or spraying it with water and brushing it with a toothbrush. Use Rinse and Gone to baste clothing pieces together. Sometimes a pattern will call for easing in sleeves or gathering fabric, and a basting stitch is perfect to do that temporarily before you stitch it down permanently. Like a quilt top, just give your project a wash in the machine when you're finished, or take a damp toothbrush or sponge and gently brush it away. The thread will disappear like magic. Water-soluble thread works great for securing your initial layer of batting when you're doing trapunto. First, draw your trapunto design with a wash-away marker. Now, place a layer of high loft batting under your design and stitch around your raised layers with Rinse and Gone in the needle and Deco Bob in the bobbin. Turn your work and trim close to the stitched line. Next, layer your piece with your regular batting and backing. Quilt around your design as desired with your chosen quilting thread, leaving the raised layers unquilted. When your work is complete, simply wash your project or spray with water and brush with a toothbrush to remove your initial stitching. Here's an interesting texture you can give your fabric. Using 3 layers of fabric with the top 2 sides right side up and the bottom side facing down, hand baste it all together with big stitches using Rinse and Gone. When it's all secure, load your sewing machine with a permanent sewing thread and sew straight lines across one end of your fabric to the other, about a ½ inch apart or following the edge of your presser foot. I sewed on the bias for this piece. When you're finished, take a pair of scissors and snip only the top 2 layers of fabric between the lines of stitching. Wash your project and give the raw edges of the fabric a brush, resulting in this textured fabric you can use on anything from quilts to bags to clothing and accessories. Here's a way you can use Rinse and Gone to make a perfect applique. Take 2 pieces of fabric, one you want to applique with, and the other a scrap piece that can be discarded later. Place the applique fabric right side down. Load your machine with Rinse and Gone in the bobbin and regular sewing thread in the top. I'll be using Deco Bob, an 80 weight cottonized polyester, since it will allow my applique to lay flat and make my miter sharper. Sew along the lines. You won't need to backstitch at the beginning or the end. Once you've gone all the way around, make sure you trim the excess fabric close to the sewing line. Remember to snip around all curves and into corners so you can have a sharp, mitered line. Now you have a piece that will need to be turned right side out. Snip an X or a hole through the middle of your scrap fabric to make a turning hole, being careful not to cut the fashion fabric on the other side. Take a hot iron and make sure the seam setting is as high as it will go. Press your applique with steam to make the soluble thread disappear. If there's not enough steam to soften the thread, add a little water before you iron it. Now pull the fabric pieces apart. Discard the scrap fabric and you'll have a perfectly turned piece of applique that can be sewn onto your project. Do you have lots of smaller pieces of wash-away stabilizer that you want to use in your embroidery machine, but they won't fit in the larger hoop? Rinse and Gone is the perfect way to sew those smaller pieces of stabilizer together because it will wash away with the stabilizer when you're finished the embroidery. You can choose to use this as a top thread and a bobbin thread in your machine or stitch it by hand. Sometimes when doing a smaller design in a large embroidery hoop, your project will end up shifting. Adding some basting stitches with Rinse and Gone will prevent your embroidery from moving while the machine is stitching, and you can easily wash or brush away the stitches once it's completed. Let us know how you like to use a wash-away thread in the comment section below, or let us know what video you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something new. We'll see you all next time.